Hey everybody, this is Austin,
And this is Jeff.
and welcome back to another episode of the Bicknell&Shea podcast.
Yes, sir, ski. Get it? No.
I'm not going to glorify that with a response.
Little Pump just came out with a new song called Yes, Sir, Ski. It's fucking terrible, and everybody keeps saying Yes, Sir, Ski, and it's super annoying, so I said Yes, Sir, Ski. Just informing you.
I just want to say one little thing about Lil Pump.
Little thing about Little Pump?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So apparently he's been, hyping up, during the election process, he was like hyping up Trump, getting real excited, trying to get people to vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he's not registered to vote, so he couldn't have voted for Trump. So all it was just hype.
Hype train, dude. Hype train equal Trump train. But anyways.
And that train is off the rails.
Okay, so is this podcast, apparently. Today is Sunday. You're probably going to be listening to this on Monday, so happy fucking Monday, everybody. Today, we are talking about, we prefaced this in the Wednesday podcast. We gave a little teaser. Today, we are talking about VR, AR, MR, pretty much virtual reality, augmented reality, any sort of reality. The made-up reality in Austin's head. We're talking about alternative realities, I guess, and video games in general.
Specifically, we're talking about gaming in, non-conventional ways of controlling or playing said games, which is where VR, AR, all that shit comes in. If you're not aware, virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, those are the three things we'll be referencing with VR, AR, and MR. I'm not going to reference MR at all because it's stupid and no one uses it. But Jeff seems to be hell-bent on bringing it up.
Wow. So, let's start with VR, giving kind of like an explanation what because some people don't even know what the fuck VR is. They've heard of virtual reality, but they don't know like the term VR, AR. So, virtual reality essentially is it's basically a way. I'll let you hit the definition. I've never been good with definitions.
Waiting for you. I was waiting for the handoff.
I've never been good with definitions. I'll let you drop yours, and then I'll touch in.
So if you think of traditional gaming, whether it be on a TV or a computer monitor, the world that you're gaming in exists solely on that monitor, right? And that's like, that's the extent of it. There's technically a fourth wall there. Like, you're not part of that world. You're just controlling someone in it. The premise of virtual reality is you are inside that world that the game is taking place in. So the game takes place all around you, which is why you see people with the silly-ass headsets flailing around like crazy. That headset, has a screen in it that displays the game in full, like, 360 degrees. So you're in the game world. So when I say that I'm playing, like Star Wars Squadrons, like my perspective is I am sat in the cockpit of like an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, and I can look around, and all around me I can see cockpit. And then if I look around, out the windows, I see space and all that shit. So, I mean, you are inside the game world.
Yeah. So VR essentially is you're in a different reality. It's not a part of your living reality. It's a completely different reality. Once you put the headset on, you're somewhere else. And Correct. You've got a 360 degree view. You can turn, you can look. When you move your arms, you can see your arms moving out in front of you, depending on the game. Super crazy shit. Super cool, though. And then we'll give them a little definition of that augmented reality, that shit that Austin hates. I think I can hit augmented reality. Augmented reality is not like virtual reality in the fact that it's this reality that you're in right now is just augmented based upon a device or technology that you put on your eyes to augment the reality in front of you. So, example, Google Glasses or stupid Snapchat filters, stuff like that. So you're altering the reality that's in front of you. You're not going into a separate reality. Pretty good definition.
I guess it's all right. It sounds like half of it you pulled off Wikipedia and half of it you pulled out of your ass, which is probably
Dude,
exactly what
Austin will
happened.
never be satisfied. I could go to Google, read verbatim the fucking definition of VR or AR or MR or any definition, and Austin would not be satisfied. He'd be like, I mean, you kind of got it right, but let me
It's just your delivery.
which is fair, because I'd rather have, if you put me on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and I had to give a definition of a certain term, I would rather phone a friend and call Austin than you give me my smartphone and let me look it up on Google, because I feel like Austin's definition is more spot on than Google.
Yeah. So if you guys still don't grasp the concept of augmented reality, it's a couple years ago they had that fucking, you saw that little dancing hot dog Snapchat filter everywhere,
Yeah.
where like people just put a dancing hot dog on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Or the
augmented
alien.
reality. Or yeah, the alien too.
Twerking on shit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's augmented reality. I want to throw another fucking ring in here.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it. I love it.
Do all of you remember, do any of you remember, and you probably do, the fucking Pokemon Go craze?
Mm-hmm. Started in 2016.
And I wish it would have died in 2016. Probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And I know there's going to be people, but Austin, it brings Pokemon more into the real world. Okay, fair. But Austin, it gets people outside. Yeah, that's good. But guess what? People were fucking trespassing in places that they weren't supposed to be going. They were like climbing fences into people's backyards. They were going into like, areas, maybe like construction sites or industrial zones that they're not supposed to be. Because, ooh, there's a rare Pokemon over there. It's like, just fucking don't go into the restricted area. Don't trespass. The fact that people could be so blind, like, that it could just take over all their reasoning is ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Augmented reality, I think, can be kind of shady, because you're changing the reality around you, so it can kind of be sketchy, especially if you have like Google glasses on or something like that.
The failed project.
Yeah. But a concept that I liked of AR is, a couple good examples would be like IKEA has a AR application to where you can pick out a piece of furniture from IKEA and then use your phone and place that piece of furniture in your house, and then you can look at it through your phone and see if it fits or not, and it's actually to scale. So it's kind of
To the best that it can be. I've done the same thing for like trying on glasses frames to see what they would look like on your face.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be an app that like, you know how the iPhone will scan your face for like Face ID. Well, it can do the same thing and like read the contours and size of your face, and then like put a pair of glasses on your face so you can see what they might look like and if they're going to, look goofy or fit the shape of your face well. So, I mean, AR has practical applications. I just hate that Pokemon Go is like the most successful Go. Successful
AR.
Go. Yeah, the most successful example and widespread use of it.
Yeah.
Because that's lame.
One other one that I remember off of Shark Tank is they're developing this AR to size you for suits. So like when you and I, when you invited me to your wedding and whatnot, and we were getting our suits basically tailored to us. We used an online suit company, so they needed all of our measurements and whatnot. But there's like this suit company out there that's developing this app to where you can just like stand in front of the camera and it'll take your dimensions, and it's pretty spot on. So that would be pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. I know, like, the iPhone has that the measure feature where, like, it opens your camera and you, like, tap here to then move to there to, like, measure stuff. That's also augmented reality. Is it completely accurate? No. But does it give you kind of a general idea? Yeah, and it can be a useful tool, especially if you don't, you're not a person that owns a tape measure, even though every human on Earth should own a tape measure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely has uses, and
it's practical.
Outside of gaming, like VR has uses outside of gaming. There are, and I just saw a post about this like today or yesterday, where a police department was using VR training for like clearing rooms and stuff, and like reacting to like hostage situations.
Yeah,
because it's a lot. I imagine it's a lot cheaper to just use a VR headset to do that than to actually set up a complete, simulated shoot house and get actors and simulated weapons and all that stuff. So it seems like it could, make better use of a budget for training for things like that. And I've seen military units use that as well.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fucking cool. But circling back to VR, so Austin bought a VR headset. What headset did you buy, Austin?
I have the Oculus Rift S.
Okay.
If anyone's curious why I have the Oculus Rift S, it was $400, and it has inside-out tracking, which I'll explain that later. And then, the other big one would be the Valve Index. It's $1,000, and it's outside-in tracking, so you need these little, they're called lighthouses. They essentially shoot lasers at the headset, and you have to set them up around the room. And for me, I don't own a home. I have an apartment, so I'd have to either command strip them to the wall and hope that they stay, or just set up a bunch of tripods with them sat on top of them. The Oculus doesn't need any of that. It's just inside-out tracking means that it has sensors and cameras on the outside of the headset. So as you look around, the cameras or then the sensors are detecting that you're moving your head, and it moves you in the game world as well. And then they detect the controllers. You hold a controller in each hand, much like a Wii, how you used to have the Wii remote and the nunchuck. Very similar concept, but just much more accurate. So it's a lot more convenient for someone who rents and doesn't have the, ability to set up a very permanent VR play space. I play in my living room, and I have to push my coffee table off to the side. So not a lot of room for permanent setups here.
What about, you can upgrade though, right? Because, the Oculus has different levels of VR headsets, right?
Well, I currently have the best one that Oculus makes. The Rift S is, the updated version of the original Rift, and the Rift series is the set that connects to your PC and doesn't work without a PC. It doesn't have its own processing power, doesn't have its own storage. Yeah. You hook it up to a PC and it runs.
Gotcha.
What you're thinking of is the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Go. So the Oculus Go is a fully standalone system where it has it has its own computer built in, almost like a phone computer, chip and RAM and graphics processing built in. And then you just download games to it, and you play on it. So it can only take, games that kind of have a lower spec.
Graphics rate.
Yeah, because it just doesn't have the same power.
I was going to say I would assume, too, that's probably the more basic user versus someone like us who's built a PC and can, really download all sorts of VR games and can get really into it with mods and everything.
Yeah, my dad bought my mom an Oculus Go a few years ago just because she wanted to try out VR and didn't have a full, powered gaming PC to run it. It's a very entry level into VR without having to get one of those stupid headsets where you actually have to put your phone inside the headset and clip it in, and there's no controllers or anything. Yeah. The Oculus Quest... No, I'm not done. Okay. The Oculus Quest... Go ahead. They have the Quest 2 out now, and that is it's a hybrid. So it has its own processing in it, and you can play your games, but it also has the ability to link up to a computer to improve performance.
Tight. I like that.
It's all right.
What was the one we were talking about today that you have to register with Facebook?
That would be the Oculus Quest 2.
The Oculus Quest 2.
So yeah, this is where the real shady... business practices of Facebook start to creep in, and why
shady Facebook.
Because Oculus didn't start out as a, Facebook company. Facebook bought them out. And this was years ago, and I actually went back and read the original Reddit post, but the founder of Oculus was saying oh, we understand your concerns about us, selling to Facebook and integrating with them, but we'll never require a Facebook login or a Facebook account to use our products. Well, he's no longer in charge, and fucking Zuck comes up. It's yep, nope, everyone who's got one needs a Facebook account.
And some Sweet Baby Rays.
And some smoking them meats.
Smoking them meats.
If you guys don't know what we keep referencing, Look up a video compilation of Mark Zuckerberg smoking meats in his backyard. He did a live stream, and it is the weirdest fucking thing. Like he says, smoking meats, chicken and ribs, and Sweet Baby Ray's, like 100 times each.
It's whatever alien that's controlling him trying to make him seem normal, but failing very hard.
Yeah.
So back to the Quest 2. So you have to have a Facebook login to use the Quest 2.
Correct. Like your Oculus, account is linked to a Facebook account, and that's how you download games and play them. Because obviously, digital games have DRM, digital rights management, where it means that like your copy of the game is only tied to one account, and you can't like share it. It's anti-piracy stuff. So what that means?
Go ahead.
If for some reason your account is banned on Facebook, you have lost the ability to use your Oculus Quest 2, and you've lost your entire game library. All those games that you paid for, they're gone. So, I mean, best case scenario, you make a new Facebook account, link it to it, and now you have nothing. You start over. You have to buy all those games again.
Can you even link a new Facebook account to it? I was hearing people not even being able to link like new accounts.
That would be shocking to me because like any piece of hardware, you'd think that like the hardware would be separate from the account. Like, if you have an Xbox and you have an account and just the account gets banned, you don't get a console ban or anything. You can make a new account, but then you don't have access to all your games and stuff because they're bought under a separate account. I was unaware if it's preventing users from actually even signing into a different account.
Yeah.
That would be even doubly shocking to me and just even more shady. And shit like that should be illegal. Like, there should be laws preventing that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the thing, too, is with Facebook has increased their bot detection on Facebook because they got slammed hard as fuck when during the Hillary Trump election because they were getting all these, undisclosed ads from Russian bots. If you can't see me, I'm putting fucking quotations up with my fingers.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly all these Russians and third party people putting up campaign ads. And this is when like search engine optimization started to really peak on social media, being able to run ads to the right people at the right times to persuade the swing states, So they got ripped. Zuckerberg got ripped. I don't know who it was, but was it the Senate or the House or everybody just ripped him. He had to sit there and just take it. So they really upped their...
I mean, deservingly so.
Yeah, very deservingly so. He's making billions off of this shit. So they upped their bot detection, and an example of this would be I actually made a Facebook account for our podcast. But because I didn't put my physical name in there, I didn't put Jeff Bicknell and have my actual name and our actual information, they deleted my account within 30 minutes of it being up, which is it's insane. So imagine making an account for your Oculus and you didn't set it up correctly or something, the bot detection found something wrong with your account and decided to deactivate your account or suspend your account. You basically, that $400 Oculus or however much money you spent on this device is now essentially a paperweight.
Yeah, I believe the Quest 2 is going for $300.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a small amount of money to your average consumer who's looking at, the middle of the road option for VR.
Yeah.
Because, to my knowledge, there's no other standalone units like the Quest 2 that have, the ability to play full games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know HTC has, like, the Vive series. Those are PC only. The Valve Index is PC only. The Rift, Windows Mixed Reality, I believe, is PC only, even though fucking no one uses that.
Yeah.
But, like, the Quest is kind of in its own, in its own category for a certain demographic. And to just have that kind of power to completely remove someone's ability to play it, that's just flat out wrong.
Definitely.
Imagine like you buy one and it gets used and then it just becomes, it just starts gathering dust. You're like, we'll sell it. We'll get some money back on it. And you sell it to someone pays you like $150, $200 for it, thinking they got a great deal and they're going to do VR. And it's like, oh, you can't use this. It's registered to a different account. That would be fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Yeah. It's pretty frustrating. Hopefully they'll fix that, but I highly doubt it.
Thankfully, my Rift S isn't requiring a linking to because I have an Oculus account, right? Which is not the same as a Facebook account. This was before I bought it and set it up before the Quest 2 came out and this whole thing started. I have until 2022 to link my Facebook account or else I'll lose the ability to play it. Guess what? I'm just going to shit can the Oculus and buy something else. It doesn't require this fucking bullshit. I'll buy whatever Valve comes out with it. By the way, all these other ones are generally, like, the Valve Index is much higher quality anyways. It's a much better system. I just don't have the ability to use it in the space that I have, and it's $1,000 fucking dollars.
Have you heard of the Pimax?
No.
So Pimax is a company that makes VR-related technology as well. They have this headset that has 4K in both of the eyes. I don't know if it can be separated, but it's 4K vision, and it's got like a 220-degree view. I don't know what is the. Do you know what the Quest is at? View range?
No, I don't know anything about the Quest, like at all.
And I guess it's nobody else has even come close to making 4K VR yet.
No, I think the industry standard right now is 1440p. That's what my Rift runs at. I believe that's what the Index runs at. And there's also differences between like the lenses that are viewing the screen. It's not just like a flat screen in front of you. There are lenses that help you with depth perception.
Gotcha.
So
yeah. So, but I guess this company just got like $20 million investment, so doubling their investment. But they had promised people these like in-game controls, like hand controls and stuff like this and all this shit. And people pre-ordered them, and it's been like 4 years and they haven't released the product. But I guess they do have a really dope headset, at least. Pretty interesting.
That's the problem with fucking like crowdfunding. That's what happens when you jump onto a crowdfunded project.
Yeah.
Is there is an inherent risk, and oftentimes they're not liable to give you their money back if it flops. Like you took the risk of investing. Just wait till it comes out, pay full price, and then you won't screw yourself.
What do you know about the Omni treadmills that they're making?
I've never heard of it.
So essentially it would be just like in, was it Ready Player One? That's the movie where the kid's basically like in his van with a treadmill, and he puts on his VR headset and he goes into the game and he's like can run around on this treadmill.
The way you say treadmill really pisses me off.
Well, what the fuck do you want me to call it?
You're saying treadmill.
How do you want me to say it?
Treadmill.
Treadmill. Anyways, there's a couple companies coming out with these this is the word, Omni treadmill. Better?
Much better.
Okay. So it's basically a treadmill that you can run and slide in different directions, and you're strapped into it. So you don't see those stupid videos of people on YouTube or YouTube, Instagram, just slamming into their TV because they're virtually like boxing or something like that, and they hit somebody or they like slam into their TV and run into something. You're actually strapped into this treadmill, and you can run in all different directions and turn and do stuff. Pretty interesting. I can definitely see you buying one of those.
It's because I would. Virtual reality of gaming is absolutely the future. If anyone who thought that VR was just a fad that's going to die, you're wrong. just because the technology isn't widespread enough and, affordable enough for everyone to buy it, which, by the way, if you can afford to buy a console and pay for the online gaming and pay $60 every game, over the course of like a year or two, you would have been able to pay for a VR headset. So don't tell me you can't afford it, because you can. That's part of the benefit of fucking PC, is all that extra cost associated with it. Like, I haven't had to pay for online, so I have a fucking VR headset with all that money I saved.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are literally 25 minutes in, and you keep... All I wanted to do was fucking talking about flying my X-Wing around in VR with my cool flight stick. We haven't even gotten to peripherals.
You want to talk about peripherals?
You're Mr.
And then how about we talk about peripherals, and then we talk about the games, actual games that you can play. I feel like people would be super interested in the different type of fucking games you can play.
Yeah, I feel like they would. I feel like people just don't understand what VR is used for a lot of the time. So I got something really cool to go with my VR headset. I bought a flight stick and throttle. For those of you who don't know, it's like when you fly a plane, especially if you fly it like a fighter jet, they have a stick, that you move around to fly like a joystick, and then they have a throttle where you put your hand on it. If you've ever driven a boat, you know what I'm talking about, where like you push it forward and it goes faster, and you pull it back, it goes slower. It's a throttle. Think of it like a gas pedal with your hand. Because Star Wars Squadrons supports VR and a flight stick and throttle. So there'll never be a time in my life, as long as I live, that I'll be closer to actually getting into an X-Wing and flying it and shooting TIE fighters. There's nothing that will ever match that in my lifetime. I'll be dead before we get that kind of technology. So, needless to say, I've been really excited about that. Just every time the round starts and I look to my left, like in VR, and I see the X-Wing, S-foils go into attack position, they spread and turns into an X, I get really fucking excited. All right? But it's just genuinely like a good like dogfighting game. Like if you ever grew up playing like the Ace Combats or other flight games, Blazing Angels was one I played a lot of. Like,
what is the real popular one? Fox? Is it? You know what I'm talking about? Sky Fox?
Star Fox?
There you go. What did I say? Fox something.
I wouldn't exactly call that a dogfighting flight simulator. I mean, I've never played it. It is old, but like Ace Combat's the one that I've heard a lot of, where people would buy a stick and a throttle to play it on their computers because they just wanted it to be that realistic.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of VR flight simulator games that will support that, where you're in a fucking cockpit of a plane, whether it be a jet, like a jet fighter, like a passenger plane or whatever. You can play these games in VR and just really immerse yourself. A lot of people are really into flight simulators. Just look at the Microsoft Flight Simulator that came out a couple months ago. It was wildly popular. And that's what caused a huge fucking dip in the supply of flight sticks. I couldn't get one for months.
Are you done?
Yeah, anything to add? And don't call it a rant. I wasn't ranting. I was talking about how
I'm
excited
not
I was.
Rant. You lashed at me earlier in the podcast. You're like, I'm not done. So I was just giving you your space, letting you talk. So let's touch on some games. We've touched on Squadrons, which is Star Wars, basically dogfighting game.
Yeah,
starfighting. Super tight, dope as fuck. Watch some gameplay on YouTube. And then they have all sorts of crazy ass games. One of the most popular ones that everybody sees on the commercials is that Beat Saber, which is basically, from my opinion, is basically like Guitar Hero, but instead of pushing something like a guitar with buttons on it, you have these like lightsabers almost, and you're like slicing through the boxes, like the colored boxes and stuff.
It's a rhythm game.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Guitar Hero, it's a rhythm game, and you have each of your controllers is a lightsaber. Why they call it Beat Saber, and you actually have to slice boxes. Like one of them's blue, one of them's red. You slice the blue with the blue, red with the red. Some of them you have to stab. There's ones you have to dodge. Like you really get into it, and like that pumps music at you. It actually can be a good workout. I know a lot of people get real sweaty doing it, but I like to get my VR workout in a little bit different manner. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I can see your shit-eating grin on your face. Go ahead.
So far, my favorite like full body VR game, because Squadrons I just sit in my chair, right? Like I'm not up. It's for the looking around. My favorite full body experience game is a game called Blade and Sorcery. And what Blade and Sorcery is, it's a medieval combat game. So you have like swords and shields and axes and bows, and you have like a little bit of magic. You know, it's like wizard shit. And that's really cool. So like people come at you and you're sword fighting, like hold up a shield. They, block their sword, chop them, stab them, do whatever, cut their head off. But there's the most popular mod for it is called the Outer Rim. And it's a Star Wars mod for it. So now, you know where I'm going with this. You have lightsabers, you have blasters, you can fucking fight Jedi and Sith and Stormtroopers, and just, it's ridiculous. You can have blasters, it's awesome. It is...
Hey, can you have blasters?
Yes, you can have blasters. It's excruciatingly violent. I mean, there's beheading, you can chop limbs off, you stab people, you do all sorts of shit. You can, like, grab them and throw them off a bridge. It's crazy. And for all those people who say the video games make you violent, no. Getting to play Blade and Sorcery at the end of a frustrating day makes it so that I am not violent towards any real person or object. It lets me really get all my fucking frustrations out at the world. And just, as soon as I'm done, I'm sweaty, I'm tired, and I just feel fulfilled and calm.
Sounds like a good time.
It's phenomenal. The only thing that would make it better is playing it on a Valve Index, because it has the lighthouses that track you, and instead of inside out, you can actually get sensors for your feet.
Yeah.
So you can literally karate kick in real life and then fucking kick people in the game, and it'll track that.
That's pretty tight.
That would be the one thing that would really make it better.
They had a mod for Beat Saber, and I'm not essentially sure how they strap the controllers to their legs, but the mod is, it turns it into basically like a DDR, a Dance Dance Revolution type of thing. So same context, but with your feet. Pretty fun. I think my favorite game that I've seen, because I haven't spent the money on VR. It definitely looks fun, but I just don't want to spend the money right now. And I don't want to get sucked in. I feel like it would definitely suck me in.
The more games I get for it, the more I disappear from the real world, and the more I inch towards the Ready Player One world where I just live in virtual reality 100% of the time. My wife is very concerned for me.
I'm concerned. We're all concerned. But the one game that I've seen that looks super, super, super fucking fun, it's not crazy complex, but it's called VR Chat. And you basically load into a world with your friends, and you can choose different characters to load in as, all sorts of stupid shit. There's all sorts of mods. And you can set up different game modes, but it's basically just like open world, whatever you want to create. Pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a virtual reality hangout. I've literally seen, this is the video that I saw on like Instagram or something years ago. It was like the first time I ever heard about VR chat. There was like it was a wedding, and it was like, I don't know, like a wolf was marrying a little anime girl, and it was like officiated by like Luigi from like Mario Bros. It was super fucking weird and super disturbing, but you know what? It's whatever you make it.
Yeah. Damn, dude. I can't wait to see what VR and AR, and we won't even name the other one because fuck it, turns into in like 10 to 15 years. It's going to be insane.
I'd like to see it in just 5 years, because it's come so far since it, because I think the Oculus Rift came out like 6 years ago-ish. Don't quote me on that. I think it is like 2014-ish. And that's when it kind of like there was like this big boom. Like everyone kind of, invested in VR and tried it out. They're like, oh, this kind of sucks. This will never be a thing. And now, 6 years later, the technology has advanced a lot to where now it's a lot easier to use and it's a lot better. It's like, this is the future. Like VR is going to stick around and continue to get better until we get to that point where it's full body motion. You're running on the Omni treadmill and all this sort of shit. Mm-hmm. It will get to that point. Is it going to be in every household? No. But are you going to have the option? Absolutely, and I can't wait for that.
Imagine if Elon stopped doing Elon shit and just decided to focus everything on VR. How fucking insane that would be. Or if we had Steve Jobs back and they just teamed up, which they never would because they have conflicting personalities, but that would be insane.
I would not want to see Apple join in on this. I want the freedom of, the open PC platform to do my VR stuff because, if Apple made something to be like, oh yes, no mods are allowed. Everything can only run exactly as we design it to.
Super basic. So I have one thing to take us out of this episode and to conclude. There is one game on VR called Job Simulator.
Oh,
and
yes,
if you
Job
play
Simulator.
this game, I don't like you. Because tomorrow I have to do Job Simulator in real life. And I don't know what sick fuck would want to play Job Simulator on their time off, but there is a special place for you, and it is not a good place. So,
for those of you unaware, Job Simulator is a game where the robots have taken over all work in the world, and now they let robots imagine what it would be like to be a human doing a job. So there's an office job, a chef job, a mechanic job, and like a convenience store cashier job. And you just get to experience the mundane nature of it, but with like a silly twist, like a robots don't really understand it type of twist. It's very silly. I've seen gameplay. It looks very fun. I just don't know if there's enough content to justify another $20.
Yeah. Well, all right. This is our longest podcast yet. I feel like it was very informational. It's kind of fun to talk about. So, take us out of here, Austin.
Yeah. In the future, I'm going to try really hard to get a streaming setup going where I can actually stream me playing like Squadrons in VR. I got to figure out some logistical stuff with that, but be on the lookout because I'd really like to stream me playing that. And if you'd be interested in watching, then twitch.tv/CommanderAbs1.
I think people would be really interested in watching you play Blade and Sorcery.
Oh my god. I think that get demonetized real fast if there was any potential of monetization. They'd be like, not wholesome.
Yeah. But anyways, check out for Austin's Twitch and, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere.
Yep. We got a website now.
Shit, we got a website. Go check out our website, www.thebicknell&Shea podcast.com.
Just been working really hard on that one.
Mm-hmm. It's simple, but it's effective. So, anyways, later, everyone.
Yep. Till Wednesday. We out.